What's up, everybody? My name is Mike, and I'm a stage 4 cancer patient who is currently about 8 months into remission from metastatic melanoma. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about CtDNA tests or circulating tumor tests. I just got the results back from one I took a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to go over those, but before I do so, I'd like to explain why I give updates like this and what a CtDNA or circulating tumor test is. I like to give updates on diagnostic tests like CtDNA or PET scans or ultrasounds or labs or whatever it is I'm doing at the moment, because my primary goal for this channel is to show what it's like to live life as a cancer patient, and especially as one with an advanced diagnosis. Even in remission, I'm under heavy observation. I also want to try and give these status updates, whether it's diagnostic tests or my mental health or whatever I'm dealing with from diagnosis into remission, as they happen, because while everyone's diagnosis, case, treatment, response to it, mental health, etc. is different, I think it's important to be able to use other people's experience as reference points. If another cancer patient or their loved ones is able to see something I'm going through and say, hey, this is pretty similar to what I'm dealing with, it will make me feel a lot better about the work that I'm doing, because cancer is weird, man. It is a lonely experience, and a lot of the time as you're going through these insane swings, whether it's dealing with physical change or approaching very scary treatments or going through the scanxiety of waiting for a test or getting the results back, you start to think, oh my God, is this normal? And I know that I've benefited greatly from seeing other people's cases and saying, okay, this is a fucked up situation, but at least there's other people who are going through similar things and they're getting through it, or they're feeling the same things that I am, and this is not so lonely anymore. And specific to CtDNA testing, this is an awesome new technology. It wasn't even around 5 years ago during my first diagnosis, treatment, and remission. Now that it is, my hope is that it can help my oncologist and I use it as a barometer for my remission and status in that capacity, but I'm pretty sure there are other great practical applications. I'm not the best one to tell you about that though, so I'm going to kick it over to my oncologist so he can explain a little more.
You'll hear different things, circulating tumor cells, circulating tumor DNA, aka CtDNA.
Yeah.
You also hear cell-free DNA, cfDNA, essentially all the same idea, where the technology is such that you can take a tube of blood and actually pick up free circulating tumor DNA in the bloodstream. How would you know that's coming from a tumor compared to just your regular DNA? Right? That's a little bit above my expertise, but my understanding is that there's certain patterns of what we call methylation on the DNA. And essentially you can sort of pick up what is coming from a tumor as opposed to normal cells. And you can pick up literally single strands of DNA, and you can measure it. You can measure the percent of that abnormal gene or whatever you're picking up as a quantifiable number. So some people have BRAF mutated melanoma like you had.
Right.
If you do liquid biopsy, we also call this liquid biopsy to make it even more confusing. Liquid biopsy is the blood test, CtDNA, same thing, all the same terminology. You can pick up the BRAF floating around in the blood. So you can pick up the DNA and then sequence the DNA to pick up the BRAF gene, and then you can actually quantify it. Like it'll on the report it'll say.
So mine had a quantifiable amount.
Exactly. So BRAF 10%.
Gotcha.
Right, and then if you give it treatment and it goes to 0%, we know that's a good thing.
Right.
What we don't know is how good.
Yeah.
Right? Does that mean, hey, we're going to cure this person or not?
'Cause that's what I was asking a little bit. Like, does it really change anything you're doing right now, or is this just kind of you're using it as like data points for maybe later?
Yeah, great question. It's actually, I would describe it as evolving.
Yeah.
In that it's a technology we're trying to figure out how to use still. Right now, a lot of it is used for detection of targets that we can treat. We use it very commonly in lung cancer because lung cancer has a list of targeted mutations this long, and you can actually pick it up into circulating tumor DNA. It's really useful. And you can say, hey, we don't even need a biopsy. We got it on the blood. We can treat you with this drug as it hits that mutation.
Huh.
Okay,
that's actually really useful. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really useful in that situation. It's useful for somebody who presents with metastatic melanoma, let's say. I can send off their circulating tumor DNA. If I pick up the BRAF mutation, I know their tumor has the BRAF mutation.
Yeah, that would have been way better.
Yeah.
Thank you for that explanation, Dr. DiCarlo and Mike. Back to you, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Now, I think that's a pretty good, succinct explanation of how CtDNA liquid biopsy circulating tumor tests work. And I'm sure there are more technical elements we could drill down to, but for my purposes, we're really only using it as a binary positive negative. If it's positive, that means we have to react and resume treatment or come up with a plan for that. And if it's negative, I remain in remission. Or at least this is an indicator that I remain in remission. That's the tricky and terrifying thing about being an advanced cancer patient, is there are undoubtedly cells with that DNA in my body. The hope is that there are just not enough of them to constitute an actual cancer case, and eventually they will all die off at a rate that is good enough to keep me in remission. You know, we use CtDNA and PET scans and other labs as barometers, but, you know, we're really just doing the best we can with the technology that we have, which is why this is so exciting. Like I said, during my first remission, this wasn't available to me, or at least I was far enough into remission that I don't think we considered it a necessity. And now I'm doing PET scans every 3 months and CtDNA tests every 3 months. But if we stagger them a little bit, you know, I kind of offset them by a month or a month and a half, so that I'm getting these checkpoints almost every month and a half, which makes it a lot more comfortable for me mentally as I go through remission. And one of the coolest parts for me as a patient is how easy this is, not only from an insurance approval perspective and a cost perspective, but also from a time perspective. I mean, they'll send a lab tech out to draw blood for me at my house. That's what we did the first time. And then the last 2 times, I've just scheduled a drawing at my oncologist's office when I've gone in there for a routine checkup. So it's been really, really easy, really stress-free. And again, this extra layer of protection helps me so much mentally. I mean, as recently as a month ago, I was freaking out about a cancer scare. I still have this lymph node that's a little inflamed, but now that I've gone through an ultrasound and a PET scan and a CtDNA test that have all shown indicators that I don't have any cancer running around in my body at the moment, it's a lot easier for me to just relax about the situation and just, you know, hope that this continues to shrink, which it has, which is also a good indicator. Lymph nodes that are cancerous don't usually shrink in my understanding of the situation, but that's for another day. As for today, though, the results of the CtDNA test. Negative. Never a doubt. No, I mean, there was always a little bit of a doubt, and it's wild how different a month time can make. You know, a month ago I was still waiting on the results of the PET scan, and I hadn't really had my oncologist examine this lymph node as much as I'd like, and now that we've talked it through and I've gotten multiple negative results, my brain is just in the mode of like, of course you're going to be fine, you know, things are cruising in remission, but it swings a lot. The emotional roller coaster of being a cancer patient is insane, whether you're in treatment or in remission. And right now, as I'm enjoying some sustained positive momentum and a little bit of safety and the associated mania in remission, I'm going to try and capitalize that, and which means that if I'm going to extend the metaphor of the roller coaster, I'm just going to put my hands up and have a good time and see what happens on this ride. Because from my viewpoint, or my seat on the ride, I am ecstatic to be here. I am stoked to remain in remission, I'm happy I have different ways of telling me so, and I love making videos explaining the science behind these different ways that'll make me feel better about my situation as a cancer patient. Alright, I didn't really explain the science. I relied on a sweet cameo from my oncologist, Dr. DiCarlo, so thanks Dr. DiCarlo for that. I hope to do many more of those in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and give the channel a subscribe. It helps the channel grow and it helps me connect with other cancer patients and their loved ones. And if you've watched this video till now, I really appreciate your time in doing so. I don't have a lot more to share other than that today. It's been pretty cool in Cancerland. Until next time, bye!